Well, I think it's down to a very solid team of volunteers around a very small paid staff. Helen's the main one with 2 or 3 others who are part-time, and between them they managed to keep all the volunteers going. There's a lot of support from the local churches and the local councillors, so I think there's not any one thing, but it's a coming together of a whole range of people and institutions working together, and I think that's what it has to be, because to keep going with that many people and that many activities takes a lot of work.
I suppose ongoing, because it's so necessary, with and people getting older nowadays and so on, and perhaps being alone and wanting company, and I think it's just kept on going and adapting in different ways and bringing in different, more modern things as time's gone on.
The group has had the ability to evolve and adapt, so that originally when we started in 1967 we were based in the Social Services building.
Right, so this building behind us used to belong to Social Services. It might still do it, and it plays a very important part in the history of Chorlton Good Neighbours. It's where we had our first office from 1967 in the late 60s up until 1991.
And it was very much about home visiting and doing a couple of trips and maybe some practical jobs. But over the time we've noticed that older people's needs have changed. They're much fitter, they're more active, so it's been a process of developing activities to structure people's week, linked in with services provided through volunteers, like the visiting, the shopping, the transport to appointments, so that we can support a whole range of older people at different points in their lives, and probably keep going with them almost right till the end, but so that their life is meaningful, that it's got structure, that they still feel that they can offer something.
I've known, I suppose, Chorlton Good Neighbours for 15 years, maybe 10, 15 years, maybe a bit longer than that. And a constant throughout that has been Helen Hibbard and her stewardship and leadership she gives to the programme, somebody who's known across Chorlton for the brilliant work that she's done. So constant committed leadership's important. A reservoir of committed and skilled local people who are committed to making the area a great place for older people. I mean, those are the kind of things that you need if you're going to have a successful project. And constantly adapting to new circumstances. So, for example, we have more older men now living alone and living longer. So support for them, the new types of services and facilities that older people can access. Chorlton Good Neighbours is a good kind of gateway to those things as well. So you can never stand still. Some of the old problems always and challenges always remain, but we adapt to the new world at the same time.
And in the early years, when we were in the social service building in Manchester Road in Chorlton, and there was only a few people, but to get to where we are now has taken 30 odd years plus. And we have to say a big thank you in the main really to Chorlton St Ninian's Church, who took us on board when we had to come out of the social service building, and since then it's just gone from strength to strength. Anything we do we get well supported by the people that come to us, and it's that, and then by spreading the word that comes to make us so successful.
I think the group's always been open to new opportunities as they've presented themselves. So say back in 2004, one of the older ladies was telling me about a home exercise programme that she'd been given by someone from the Getting Active Through Exercise team. And I rang up that lady who was running that programme. She came to see me, and within a year we'd set up 3 classes on site here.
A great group of volunteers who've obviously changed over the years, but still nevertheless that volunteer force has made a huge difference. Having an excellent coordinator in Helen Hibbard, who's the person I've known over the 17 years, because she's been there then, and she's very good at engaging with people, getting the volunteers allocated to the right job that meets their skill set, makes them all feel valued, supporting the clients, making them feel very comfortable and happy with the volunteers they have, encouraging people to come along to things. You know, if someone comes to a coffee morning, then she'll say to them, do you fancy trying an exercise class, or how about a trip out, or are you interested in history, would you like to come to a history talk? Very good at getting people involved in things. So I think that makes a huge difference as well. Support from the local churches, because it was initially set up by the churches together in Chorlton, so that's a key part as well. And support from the council, not just in money, but in practical help as well. And all the local councillors in Chorlton, Chorlton Park and Woolley Range, I know, greatly value Chorlton Good Neighbours.
Because they engage with them on a regular basis and they're asking their particular needs, I think they have adapted. I mean, obviously over the years there has been many changes, things like in social media, that's become very important. A lot of older people now who want to keep in contact with their, people in their family, they're buying them these new technologies, and so Chorlton Good Neighbours are moving with the times and they are offering things for them.
Well, I've lived in Chorlton for 20 years and I know Chorlton's changed in just 20 years. It will be a different place than it was 50 years ago, and in a way that's a kind of clue to the success of an organisation like Chorlton Good Neighbours, because many of the people who are either volunteers or who are part of Chorlton Good Neighbours in one way or other will have lived virtually the whole of their adult lives in the area and will have seen the area change around them. Many people think for good, but those changes do sometimes create anxieties and challenges for people, so having a constant presence over such a long period of time is something I think which gives reassurance to people who live in the area.
And I think most people in Chorlton, South Manchester have heard of us, I think further afield as well. And the fact we've been there 50 years, says something about the charity really, that we're doing something right.
Well, I think it's kept going because they are volunteers, and they wouldn't volunteer if they didn't love to do that sort of job. And I think when all's said and done, if you do volunteer, you need to be that sort of person who will listen to other people, and I think listening is what's kept it going. They listen to older people's needs.
I guess the last thing is on a personal point of view. So Chorlton Good Neighbours is 50 this year. I was 53. And I'm hoping Chorlton Good Neighbours is around for the next 50 years. As I enter my 60s and 70s, I'll need a place to hang out with my friends and to do the things that we've always wanted to do when we retire. So I'm looking forward to old age. I'm looking forward to Chorlton Good Neighbours next 50 years.